Here we are breaking records left and right during this historic March heat wave. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. Just a day after we experienced the highest March temperature ever recorded in Denver, well, the city did it again today at toasty 85 degrees. And the heat wave isn't done with us yet. We want to get right to our 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen with your forecast and maybe even break another record tomorrow.
We could break a couple, the daily record and an early 90. So, it's March Madness today. We had the buzzer beater of March Madness here in Denver. This 85 came in at the very last minute of daytime heating. So that's a last minute shot from DIA getting up to 85. That broke the old record and tying the record that we set way back yesterday. And it doesn't matter because tomorrow that record's going to go down again. If we hit 90, that'll break the daily record, it'll break the all-time March record, and it'll be the earliest 90 on history. So big day to watch these numbers spike up here on the eastern side of the state up into the 90s and 70s again in parts of the high country. So we'll easily get another 80. That'll be the fourth 80-degree day of March. That'll be the most ever in the month of March for Denver history. Then we'll have one coolish day on a 66-degree high after a cold front on Sunday morning. And then unfortunately, the heat is going to spike back up. We could be back in the 80s breaking records by next week.
Fire near Fort Carson is forcing some people from their homes. The so-called 24 fire has burned more than 1,000 acres on Army property. Today, Fremont County Sheriff's deputies went door to door telling people within 2 miles of the fire that it was time to get out. The fire has been burning since Wednesday, but really got moving today.
We thought we had a good handle on it, and the weather took a turn on us, and it was windy, and the humidity was high, and so the fire jumped our fire line that we had containment on and grew.
Fort Carson says no one's been hurt in the fire, and there's been no damage to any buildings. This unusually warm and dry weather is not doing firefighters any favors right now.
9 News reporter Rhea Jaw explains how conditions right now are shaping Colorado's wildfire risk for the coming months.
For a lot of people, this weather on a Friday means clocking out and heading straight to a patio. Not for Nikolai Reimer, though.
When we get into especially a hot, dry, windy conditions like this,
it means overtime for a wildfire meteorologist.
Yeah, it does increase the workload. We're not just responding to fires here in Colorado. We cover a 5-state area. The whole Central Plains has been very dry this winter, very warm.
Nikolai says he's already seeing more red flag warnings than he ever has for this time of year.
Numerous weeks where it's been several days in a row where we've had these red flags.
The concern is that the trend could continue. Nikolai explains the driver of wildfire risk is split into 2 halves.
The biggest thing for wildfire season that snowpack contributes is till late May, early June.
The amount of snowpack determines how wildfire season begins.
Given the lack of snowpack that we have this year, we are probably going to see more fires starting earlier in the year than maybe we typically would.
And once we get deeper into summer,
that's going to be driven more by what the drought conditions are looking like, what that monsoon looks like.
And we're off to a rough start.
The state we're starting in, and given how dry we've been just for a very long time, and especially with how hot we are, it's going to take a lot of moisture to really recharge the soil to really have a robust green up.
So during this time, experts are really urging people to recreate mindfully, use best practices, and just kind of avoid any behavior that might cause a fire, especially on days like it was today, where it was hot, windy, and dry. Reporting live in Denver, Rhea Cha, 9 News.
Castle Rock Police and the Douglas County District Attorney's Office are asking for help finding a convicted sex offender. The DA's office says 45-year-old Jorge Campos did not show up to court today to hear the verdict in his trial. He cut off his ankle monitor and they can't find him. The DA's office says he repeatedly assaulted a child from 2021 to 2023. Campos faces mandatory prison time. A sentencing date will be set after police find him. So if you see him, go ahead and call 911. The SWAT officer with Longmont Police is on administrative leave tonight after shooting and killing a woman on a call yesterday. Happened about 4:15 in the afternoon at a home on East 3rd Avenue near Great Western Drive. Longmont Public Safety says officers responded to a call about a suicidal woman. They say they made contact with her, and as they were leaving, she fired a gun inside the garage. They tried to make contact with her again, called for backup. As officers tried to negotiate with her, they say she left the garage with the gun, and an officer shot her. The woman was taken to the hospital where she died. A critical incident team made up of agencies in Boulder County are investigating. Longmont Police is not a part of that.
President Trump has reversed his reversal of an endorsement of Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd. So first, Trump backed him. Then he disowned him and supported Hurd's primary challenger. And now today, Trump is back to backing Hurd. So here's the deal. Hurd is a freshman Republican, Western Slope seat once held by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. It is a lean Republican district that he was expected to win. But then he crossed Trump by opposing tariffs, so Trump denounced him and unendorsed him. Democrats in Colorado were suddenly ecstatic, thinking they had a real shot to beat Hurd's right-wing primary challenger, Hope Scheppelman. She got Trump's endorsement instead. It's not clear whether Trump saw numbers on this or whatever, but this morning, Trump abandoned her and went back to Hurd. Trump says he'll give Scheppelman a job in his administration instead.
A bipartisan bill at the state capitol would give voters the power to decide whether autonomous commercial vehicles like semis should be required to have a person inside. A similar bill passed last year, but Democratic Governor Jared Polis, who is serving out his final year in office, vetoed it. In his veto letter, he said driver error is the leading cause of crashes and that he did not want to stifle technology meant to improve safety. To avoid another possible veto, the Democratic and Republican sponsors of the last bill and the union backing it want to bring the issue to voters.
Curious why you wouldn't wait until there's another governor in office to try this bill. Why are you bringing this to the voters?
Because the time is urgent. The time is now. We need protections now. They are literally rolling out all over Texas right now. They're rolling into New Mexico. They're rolling into Arizona.
Well, critics of the bill argue autonomous vehicles are innovative, cost-efficient, and reduce highway deaths. Truck drivers we talked with believe those trucks won't know what to do on I-70 in a blizzard and will take jobs away. We asked the governor's office if his position has changed. They told us he feels the same way as before.
Former Tattered Cover bookstore CEO Kwame Spearman is leaving his new bookstore project just a month after it opened. The Denver Book Society got blowback from the public over Spearman's treatment of staff as the head of Tattered Cover as it went bankrupt, and his support for ICE immigration enforcement when he ran for mayor. Spearman ran unsuccessfully for mayor in the spring of 2023 and for Denver School Board in the fall of the same year. Spearman drew criticism at the time for saying that Denver should resume cooperation with federal immigration agents. Denver Book Society says Spearman is no longer involved with the business and apologized to the community. Spearman told Westward that he had always planned to leave after 1 month.
The airport near Steamboat Springs is joining DIA in accepting gift cards and food for TSA workers who are caught in the middle of another partial government shutdown. Yampa Valley Regional announced the donation drive this week. DIA is putting on a similar effort. Airport screeners have been working without pay for 35 days and counting now, while the Department of Homeland Security is shut down. TSA officers missed their first full paycheck last weekend, and absences are climbing around the country. More than half of scheduled staff were absent Sunday at an airport in Houston. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, 38% of officers missed work on Wednesday and 32% yesterday. That's led to some really long lines. Homeland Security says at least 376 officers have outright quit their jobs since the shutdown began on Valentine's Day. About 1,100 quit during last year's shutdown that ended in November.
Democratic attorneys general, including Colorado's, are asking a federal court to pause the acquisition of 9 News and its parent company, Tegna, by Nexstar, which owns Fox 31. Nexstar has said that multiple stations in the same city will be combined. The AGs are suing in federal court in California, arguing that waiving ownership rules to allow America's largest TV station owner to get bigger violates anti-monopoly rules. Nexstar says it's a necessary step to compete with big tech. President Trump supported the deal, saying it would, quote, help knock out the fake news. Today, the AGs followed up their lawsuit with a request that the deal be paused before newsrooms are closed and journalists are laid off. In their motion, the AGs wrote, quote, "Once newsrooms are consolidated, staff terminated, and operations integrated, the lost independent rivalry and locally cultivated content cannot realistically be reconstructed later." The filing says the companies and the Trump administration rushed to approve and clear the deal within hours of the lawsuit to avoid scrutiny in court. The AG's filing says Nexstar said this morning that the deal is now done, so it can't be paused. Nexstar declined to comment on the motion, and a judge has yet to rule on it.